Angela Paoli, Vice President of Education and Broker Development for At Properties Christie's International Real Estate. And I am covering the all call today for Amy Core. Welcome to Accelerate Fall. We have a really good meeting today. I'm going to get you out of here at 9:30, so let's get started. So today I have two awesome guests with me, Miss Lisa Cokefair and Justin Lucas, and we'll be getting to them in just a second. Let's talk about the schedule for the week. So today we're doing our all call. We'll get out of here about 9:30. Tomorrow we have an amazing agent summit event scheduled at DePaul Lincoln Park at 9 a.m. I have a QR code here if you'd like to if you'd like to scan it and register. We still have a lot of room. So you guys, please, if you didn't make an agent summit at one of our other locations, please come tomorrow. We'd love to have you. We have David Childers there from Keeping Current Matters, who's putting on a really amazing presentation. So please join us for that. Then next week, we have Getting What You're Worth for Buyers. I am teaching this as well as Paul Blackburn. This is a 2-day webinar. This is on 9/24 and 9/25, 2 days in a row from 9 to 11 a.m. You have to come to both days. This is going to help teach you how to capture more buyers on your terms. It's similar to Getting What You're Worth that you might have taken in the past for sellers. This is for buyers. Please scan that QR code and register for that. 2025 business planning is also coming your way. Kevin Rines and I will be out in all of your regions doing in-person workshops. We will be teaching you how to gain clarity on your areas of focus for next year. You'll hear from and collaborate with many of your peers. You'll also get a chance to do a hands-on workshop where you can create your 2025 business plan, including a comprehensive marketing plan as well. So please scan that QR code and sign up for one of the regional sessions. You can pick whatever works for you. Then we have Expo 2024. This is on November 4th. It is in the city. It's an inspirational day of marketing, technology, and industry leaders. If you've ever been to Expo, you know how amazing this day is. If you've never been to Expo, you have to come. Please scan this QR code and we will see you there. We also have our Ninja installation coming. That is November 12th through the 15th in Rosemont. This is an immersive 4-day training workshop where we bring in a Ninja sales trainer and you'll learn a sales system that allows you to be an on-purpose realtor versus an on-accident realtor. We also talk about creating value, creating deep relationships with your clients, really sound operational systems. There's a lot of scripting. Ninja will change the course of your entire career. So if you have never taken Ninja or if you're a past Ninja and you'd like a refresher, please join us for installation this year in November. Scan that QR code. And one last thing I want to end on that's pretty exciting, Amy Core on social. I don't know if any of you have seen, but she's really doing a deep dive into social media. Her account is awesome and fun and amazing. And there's a lot of content on there, like upcoming events, coaching and training sessions, new coffee episodes, market updates, just a bunch of really good stuff. So please scan that QR code and connect with Amy on social. She'd love to connect with agents, staff, and some of our leadership alike. So we have lots of good things, but I want to get into the meat and potatoes of our meeting today. And that's meeting with Lisa and Justin. So let me stop sharing my screen. All right. Hello, guys. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good morning. So we have Lisa Cokefair, who is our managing broker in our Barrington and Libertyville offices. And then we also have Justin Lucas, who is an agent out of our New Buffalo and our Bucktown offices. So he's licensed in 2 states. So I'm super excited to have you guys on with me today. Justin, I want to start with you. We had a really great planning meeting last week, and it was funny because when we started, Justin said, I think you have the wrong person. I think you chose the wrong agent for this. And it's funny because a lot of our agents say that. And then as we get through the conversation, everything falls into place and it becomes so clear that we have the perfect agent for our all call. So Justin really ended up being a perfect agent for our call. He's been selling for over 7 years now. This is his best year in production. And, we talked a lot about the things he does, the techniques, the tactics that he uses. And as we were talking, we were discovering that a lot of it was so ninja which I loved. And Justin's never done ninja installation, but I know you've read the book.
Mhm.
But I want to talk a little bit about some really important ninja concepts that I think you're doing really well in your business. And I want to start with staying in flow. So there's two different forms of flow when it comes to the ninja sales system. One is auto flow and one is live flow. So auto flow are things that you can just keep running in the background that you don't really need to touch. You implement it, it kind of churns and burns on its own. For example, a monthly postcard campaign, a monthly newsletter that goes out automatically, things that kind of go out without you having to do much, but you're staying in contact with your people in the meantime. What Justin does, and what I think he's really good at, is that live flow component where it is really being engaged in an in-person, in a live way with actual conversations. So Justin, can you talk a little bit about how you integrate live flow into your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me. And I've never taken Ninja, but I am in my car a lot, and I've read the book and I've also listened to it on Audible. And so I've tried to adapt some of the practices there, but live flow for me is just making sure that I'm constantly in contact. And I don't necessarily prescribe set times in my calendar for reaching out to my clients, my sphere. It's more organic for me. And if something pops into my mind, I'll reach out to somebody. If traveling and I saw a storefront with a client's name and I took a picture of it and sent it to them and just made them know that I'm thinking of them. And whether it's text messages, calls, DMs on social media, I'm trying to just always stay in touch with them and let them know that I'm always here.
Yeah, I love that. And in Ninja, we talk about live interviews, and Ninja challenges people to do 50 per week, which sometimes feels really heavy to people. They're like, oh my God, how am I going to have 50 live conversations a week? So, can you talk a little bit about how you make it feel not so heavy?
Yeah, so I'm always connecting with new people, and I have met a lot of friends from Chicago. I should let you know I'm not from Chicago, and when I moved to Chicago, I didn't know anybody here. But through sports, Chicago Metropolitan Sports Association, and through colleagues, and just always meeting new people, I've grown a sphere, and I've grown a lot of people that I've known. And when I'm out at a bar or out walking my dog, I always try to meet new people and connect with people on a human level. And just I've made it a business practice and a life practice of mine to just always connect with people and invite people in.
Yeah. So when we were talking about you connecting with people, you told a really fun story about an interesting way that you actually picked up a client. So can you share that
Sure.
story?
Yeah. So I have a home in Michigan, in Michiana, right over the border. And one day I was down at the beach and in the water in Lake Michigan, and there were a couple other people there with their couple with their dog, and we were in the water just sparking it and sparked a conversation. And one of the girls' parents have lived in Michiana for years, and told them that I'm an agent, and they were like, "Oh, we're actually thinking about buying in the next year." And we said, well, we should exchange contact information. Well, we were in the water, so I didn't have a pen or my phone, and I got out before them, and I didn't want to feel like I was just waiting for them to like get their name and number. But I do remember that the guy told me where he worked in the Groupon building, and the company he worked for was founded by one of the founders of Twitter. And so I maybe put on some stalkerish hats, and I went into LinkedIn or Googled who founded Twitter, what companies does he have in the Groupon building, and then I went on LinkedIn and I found the guy. His name was Chris, and I reached out to him, and he was like, "You found me," and we started a conversation, and he became a client. I helped him and his wife find a home. And over the holidays, he sent me a picture of him and his newborn son, and he was like, "You helped make this happen." I was touched, and
Yeah.
uh, so I met a client in the water in Lake Michigan.
So
Hey,
awesome. I
Justin,
mean,
how
come
long
on.
have you been living here?
16 years.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I just think that's so unique because I know you said, a lot of people depend on their sphere of influence, right, for this business. So you've done a great job then for not being here all your life and
Thanks.
really having these impromptu, interviews, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
it's been a struggle and challenge on some aspects. Look, I don't intuitively know which schools are better. I didn't go to school here, well, elementary or high school. I don't have the friends, parents, friends. So it's I've had to grow my network from zero here.
I always love stories like that with agents who, didn't grow up here, didn't know anybody, and became such a successful broker. It just proves that what you're doing works. And that's a big concept of Ninja too. We call it TSW. This stuff works. And it does, right? You've be made it so personal and you keep in touch so well and you have those live interviews so often that it's just integrated into your life, right? So it was funny when we were talking about prospecting. I was like, what system do you use for prospecting, Justin? And Justin's like, well, I don't really like, I have a little system in like my Outlook, but I'm kind of all over the place. And it's because he's doing it just within his life, right? So Richard says, Justin, are you a swimsuit model
Yeah,
also?
hardly. No,
Um,
sir.
something that John said was that is not stalking, that is prospecting. Good job. And I totally agree. And
Yep.
you did all that research and you probably really impressed that guy. That guy was probably like, holy cow, this guy really took the time to find me and like valued meeting me. Right. And it was probably an easier converting it easier to a client that way. So I just thought it was such a cool story.
Thanks.
I
Yeah.
think that's great too, because I think a lot of brokers would have thought too much and too hard about what you did, Justin. A lot of them, I think brokers get in their own way so many times where they overthink, should I do this? Should I not do this? And you just did it. And it
Just
came
do
out
it.
to be a very great success story.
Yeah, I get in my own head too. We all do. And should I
Yeah.
do that? Just do it.
Yep.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Make the
Yeah.
call. Just do it.
And so, Justin,
Yeah.
will you talk a little bit? I know you do have a system. So talk a little bit about the system that you use.
So I am very organized, and I organize my Outlook in a 30, 60, 90 approach. 30 are kind of lukewarm clients, good acquaintances, people that may buy or sell in the next year or two. 60 are active, they're hotter clients, and the 90 are either under contract or we're about to write on something. And that's how and then I create subfolders by name in Outlook so that and I save every email so that I know where a document is, I know the last communication, and I have it organized. So periodically I will go back to and I have a cold folder as well. Somebody who's like, I'm not going to do it now. And sporadically I will tap into that as well and just follow up and check in with people. But my flow is more organic, spontaneous, but I do keep a list, and I should leverage our CRM a little more for this, but for me, this works. I do have an Excel spreadsheet of every client that I've ever closed. And so I do on Thanksgiving or on Christmas or around different holidays, I will get that list out and just spend an hour just texting all of them. Just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. Just wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you and the family are well. Yeah, so I think being organized has helped me. And I use Google Calendar as well. If it's not on my Google Calendar, I'm going to forget about it. And I have a good memory, but if it's not on the calendar, I'm going to miss the appointment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we talked about using a system that works for you, right? So even though that, we tell a lot of agents, plan your perfect week. Make sure you have 30 to 60 minutes every weekday to prospect. You don't really time block that space. You kind of prospect throughout your whole day. So really, it's just using a system that works for you, and
Yeah.
it's different for everybody. So I love that.
Yeah, I know other agents that set aside time just for cold calling. I can't do that. That's not me. I don't want to do that, but I have found something that does work for me. And I think everybody needs to find a system that works for them as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Lisa, I want to shift gears to you really quick. Another big part of Ninja is mindset. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about how you coach your agents with having the right mindset. I think one thing that I really love about you is that you always come from a very positive and realistic space with your agents. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about mindset.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, mindset is so important right now with all the changes in the industry. I think we as a group, as a company, have spent so much time on the changes and the new way of doing business. But I think now what we really all have to be doing is wrapping our arms around the new way of doing business and really moving forward. I think we've all done a great job learning what we have to do. So we can't keep looking in the past of how we used to do things. We really have to go into the future now or current right now, what we're doing, and really focus on that. So, we have had the ability, and I think everyone has done such a great job learning that now we also have to keep in mind as we continue to do transactions with other brokerages that we are in a very unique position where we're going to have to do a lot of training other brokers, other agents from other brokerages. And so I think just even our mindset of positivity and patience is a big thing right now, and understanding that not every deal is going to go the way we want it to. So we have to really be patient and explain to some of the brokerages or brokers of the new way of doing business. So I think that's important. And I also think right now, mindset should be really getting back to business, right? We've all taken the time to learn. We've got to get back to business and really kind of what we talked about today, right? It's prospecting. It's getting set for the last quarter, because we all know the last quarter of the year fuels our first quarter of the year. Getting set for business planning and really sitting down and looking at your past business, where business has come from. Justin has done a great job with meeting people that he's not known before or hasn't had his share of influence here. So I think really coming up with some ideas of where you're going to be able to capture some more business. And I've always been a big believer, and my brokers will tell you, they probably have heard me say this over and over again, but activity breeds activity. So long as you're doing something, right? So today, whatever prospecting you're doing or interviews that you're doing, something may not pop from that, but something else will pop from somewhere else, right? So long as you're waking up every morning and you're doing something to get activity going, you're going to get it.
Yeah. Oh my God. You
Can
make
I
so
add something
many good
on the
points. Yeah.
mindset piece?
Yeah.
So yeah, in Ninja Selling, the very first chapter is mindset. And I remember a few years ago, Thad was on stage and made a comment about an agent told him, a story about, my clients suck, and they're going through a difficult time, and this is a stressful process for them. So we need to keep our composure. And if we're anxious or if we're nervous, it's not gonna help them. It's not gonna help anybody. So every time before I go into a listing presentation, a pitch, or I have to make a difficult phone call, I take 3 deep breaths. I calm my breathing. I get my head on straight, and then I go in a calm manner. And that has helped me as well.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
I feel like I almost compare working with clients in real estate to parenting. There's just so many similarities, right, Lisa?
Yes.
You can't bring a bunch of when you're dealing with kids, you can't bring a bunch of emotions with you, right? And it's just similar dealing with clients. You have to kind of remove some of that and be that sound, grounded professional.
Yeah.
And it is like everybody's got their own struggle, and you really have to meet clients where they're at, right? And sometimes they're not in good places. So I love that you do that, Justin, where you take those deep breaths, you take a minute,
Calm
you
down.
find a good perspective, you don't get super emotional about it. And I'm sure that has definitely helped you be successful as well. And Lisa, I love the point you made about patience. I think that is so
Yes.
integral right now. Not only patience with, other brokers who might not be trained as well as at properties brokers, right? And maybe
Yes.
some of these brokerages aren't as I guess forward thinking as ad properties is, right? They're not as prepared. They're not preparing their agents as well. There's just a lot of ignorance out there right now. So being patient and kind with other brokers, but also being patient with yourself. Because
Yes.
right now it's crazy. I think everybody can admit that like the industry changes have really changed some things and made things more difficult, and it may be harder to put deals together, and it may be harder to communicate with the other side, and it's causing frustration with you and your clients. And I know our managing brokers are dealing with lots of different issues coming from our agents. So, have some patience for yourself too. Change takes a long time.
Mhm.
And I would imagine that it's probably going to take us another 6 to 12 months before things really calm down and become normal. So give
Yes.
yourself a little bit of grace. And
Yes.
the people that are working with you, give them some grace too. It's just a tough
Yeah.
time, and it's just how change feels, but it'll all shake out, it'll calm down, and just keep your head in the game and have the right mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we're so good about giving grace to others, but we don't give grace
yeah,
to ourselves, right? And I
yeah,
do think that's so important.
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pivot a little bit back to Justin. We talked about some of the top things that we want to be focusing on for the rest of the year and into 2025. You mentioned that you have three things. So I'd love for you to review what your three things are.
Yeah, so I think it's a good, you need to keep a balance of being strategic, right? Like if you have an area that you want to farm and an area that you want to target and market to and do more business in, you need to be strategic in your approach for hitting that market and targeting those people. But our business is very reactive, and I may not have the best boundaries with my clients, but I'm very responsive, and I have had feedback that they appreciate that. I mean, this is a big decision. It's the roof over their head. It's important to them. It's important to me. So I'm very reactive with my clients and the work that I do as well. So I think one is finding that right balance of being strategic and reactive. Two, creating video content. One of my goals for this year was to create more video content. Everybody is consuming data through video. Like professional photos are still very important as well, but we need to create more video content, and that's an area that I've invested in and will continue to invest in for my business. And then your sphere. So I remember when I took at 101, there was Linda Ridge Markham. I don't know if she's on here, but fellow South African, well, Zimbabwean, but she lived in South Africa for a while. But we were doing at 101 at the same time, and we would meet for coffee and just talk about business. And I had all these great plans of when I was new to the business. So I'm going to put billboards out everywhere and I'm going to advertise everywhere. And she was like, Justin, calm your ass down. She's like, spend the money on your sphere. Your first piece of business is going to come from people you know. And still business today is going to come from people I know. So I've remembered that since the first month in the business, and I still focus on that. So focusing on my sphere. My sphere continues to get bigger, but that's where I am going to focus my investment.
I love that. You're coming out of the gates with billboards, and then you're having a reality check. Let's
That was
just focus on
ridiculous. Yeah.
the people that know, like, and trust you, and your referrals are going to grow from there, right?
Right. And so my business is 75% repeat and referral. And so there's a few books that I recommend that everybody reads. Ninja Selling is one of them. I like Ryan Serhant, Sell It Like Serhant. All of his books are pretty good, but that's a really good one. And then now I'm forgetting the name of the book. But the message of the book is, you don't just want a client to leave you a 5-star review on Zillow. You want them to scream your name from the mountaintop. Anytime that client hears somebody else talking about real estate, you want them to think of you and to give that person your name. And so that's my goal. So I don't want just that piece of business. I want every piece of business that person can then push me onto.
Love it. Creating raving
Raving
fans.
fans. That's it. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So great. I love that mindset. Lisa, what is your biggest area of focus that you're coaching your agents to focus on?
It's always going to be prospecting, right? So not necessarily cold calls or people they don't know, but I think really what I try and drive home is look at all the different ways we can prospect, right? You can do cold calls if you want, right? You can do Popeyes. You can, there's so many different things, whether it's open houses, whatever it is, you have to find the one thing that you really love to do. As Justin said, there's so many different systems out there. He picks the one that he likes because it's going to help. So you can't spread yourself so thin. So kind of like when Justin was going to get in the business and do everything. So look at all the different prospecting techniques that are out there, or ways to get more business, and really focus on the one that you love, that you're comfortable in, because when you like it and you're comfortable with it, you're going to have more confidence in what you're doing, and it's going to make a big difference in what you're getting your end result to be.
Yeah.
So that would be really where I would focus right now.
It just makes prospecting so much easier, right? Whether
It does.
whether you're a parent and you love being involved in PTA or PTC, right? And that's really
Right.
where you love to spend time, and then focus on that and getting business
Yeah.
from there. Or you're,
Right.
You have a dog and you're an animal lover and you have a dog park that you go to often. Focus on that, right?
Right.
Do some networking there, or do some fundraising there, or you're on a softball league, a co-ed softball league, whatever it is, it doesn't
Right.
matter. The point is just do what works for you, and something that's fun and that you get enjoyment out of, because then it doesn't feel so heavy and feels so much like work.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And your success rate is going to be much better that way.
Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
love that. All right. Well, we're ready at the 9:30 time. I'd love to wrap. I'm putting a plug in for Ninja installation, you guys. Please, if you're interested in really organizing and changing the trajectory of your business, please sign up for installation. I will be there. We bring in an amazing Ninja trainer. And if you do what they teach you, it really will change things for the rest of your life. So it's a really good program if you're interested. So sign up for that. We will post the slide so you can have all the QR codes and everything in the room on the app. And then I want to wrap with, if each of you could give us just a word or a sentence of inspiration and motivation for the week. Lisa, I'll start with you.
I would say my inspiration for the week, you guys, is really visualize. Right? Visualize what you want. I think that's always been a big part of my success when I was selling, is, whether it's a post-it note on your computer that says you want 2 appointments this week, whatever it is. Visualize is my word, my motivational word for you guys today.
I love
love
that.
it.
You need
And
to
it's a
know
good
where
time
you're
too.
going. You need to
Yep.
know where you're going, or you're not going to get there. I love that.
Exactly.
Begin
Yep.
with the end in mind.
Yep.
My thing, I kind of have 3 things. So we talked about mindset and energy and focus and prospecting. Whatever you water grows. Whatever you're giving energy to is gonna produce. So be focused in your intentions. Somebody made a saying once that nobody likes being sold, but people love shopping with friends. So become friends with people. So my thing is, there are no strangers, just friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love that.
Very
That's
good.
so
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Say that again, Justin, about
There are no strangers, just friends you haven't met yet.
I love that. And the shopping thing, say that again.
People don't like being sold. Like, nobody wants a salesman attacking them, but people love shopping with friends. So
I love
make
that.
friends, make more friends.
That's
Yep.
so great. What a great way to look at real estate. Thank you guys so much for being my
You're
guests
welcome.
today, Lisa and
Thanks for having
Justin.
me.
We have a lot of great things coming up. You guys lean into the coaching and training programs coming up, and we will hopefully see you soon. Have a great week.